What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to Tour Junkies After Dark. It's dark. We have been drinking.
It is dark.
I got my Crow's Nest Master's Cup right here.
Vino.
Drinking some vodka that I can't say because no free ads. You got some vino. We just recorded the Tour Junkies podcast for the Valspar 2021. That's what we're doing. Valspar in lovely... near Tampa, pretty much, Florida.
Palm Harbor,
yes.
Yes.
Innisbrook Resort, the Copperhead course. Good stuff, Pat. I'm excited to be here, your host of the Tour Junkies podcast. Pat Perry with me. We're having a great time. We took a week off last week because the Zurich was a team event, and frankly, we needed a week off. So, here we are. We just had a couple great shows. We did the DraftKings preview, DFS preview on our channel. We did the betting picks preview, if you're interested in that, which you probably are. You're not watching this. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the DraftKings Sportsbook plays that we like, the outrights, the top 20s. We're going to give you a great course breakdown. Before we do that, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you wouldn't mind. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a subscribe. Hit the subscribe button to the DraftKings YouTube channel. Good content every single day, multiple times a day on the DraftKings YouTube channel. And, Pat, we did have our caddy friend, 9-year, 10-year caddy on the PGA Tour, Mr. John Rathouse, very familiar with the Copperhead course here at the Innisbrook Resort. He talked about on our YouTube channel, on our show, a lot about the golf course, about how it's going to play, about how it's going to set up. So why don't you kind of condense that for the people? If they want to go check it out, they can head over to the Tour Junkies YouTube channel and check it out on the DraftKings preview for the Valspar. But why don't you kind of summarize and tell us what we're looking at here for the Copperhead course?
Yeah, it's a great course. This course typically plays as one of the most difficult courses on tour. It is a par 71 playing just over 7,300 yards. Interesting thing about this course is you've got 4 par 5s, which is pretty normal, but you also got 5 par 3s that all play pretty difficult, and that's not something you typically see as 5 par 3s on a golf course, but we got it here this week. Another thing that really I think that Rathouse mentioned the most was just how this is like a Florida course that isn't really a Florida course. Okay, yeah. You got a lot of undulation. You got a lot of elevation changes here that are different than you might see on a typical Florida layout. So it's something that's a little bit unusual. He says that is certainly a factor in why it's so difficult. It's just not something that's normal for these guys. You do have Bermuda grass, tee to green here. There is some overseed with POA, but as we know, we're getting later in the spring. This course is, they typically used to play this in March, but now they're playing it here in late April, early May. So that could play a difference here in this course and how we see it. You got the snake pit, DB. You got the snake pit this week. Watch out! The snake is gonna get ya. Watch out for that snake. They bite you. And you don't know where they are. They're coming from all angles. But in this course, it's 16, 17, and 18. So when you're going into the snake pit.
True.
It's not going to shock you here. But look, it's a difficult course. I think it's going to be a stern test for these guys. For me, and just like Rathouse said, he said strokes gained approach is huge this week. You got to look at that stat. He liked course history.
He did. He's a big fan, he said. Big fan.
He likes some course history. And then he also likes scrambling. But I kind of pressed him a little bit, not just on the scrambling. And he did eventually mention some driving accuracy. But if you look at driving accuracy stats, it's going to be a little bit different because, this is a course where they can dial it back off the tee. They're not always just hitting drivers off the tee. They're hitting all kinds of shots here, but you do need to be in the fairway. This is a very tight tree-lined golf course, so it's important to be in the fairway here on this course. So there you go. Let's talk about some picks, maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. We talked about how this tends to be a more difficult course, so you want guys who play difficult courses well. Wind is a definite factor here. It's looking like a big factor the first couple days. It can be tough. Paul Casey's won here 2 times in a row. They didn't play it in 2020, so they played it in 2019, 2018. He won both of those. Big time ball striker course. You know, he talked about everybody kind of plays the same spots off the tee. So whether you're going to get there, if you're a shorter hitter, you're probably still going to hit driver. If you're a longer hitter like a Dustin Johnson, a Justin Thomas, you're going to see these guys take a lot of irons off the tee, maybe a 5-wood, a hybrid, 3-wood, something like that. Play into the same spots on these golf courses, and then it's all about the iron play and approach play into these very small greens. And they're difficult. They're fast. They're undulating. They're grainy Bermuda. So you're going to miss them. And so I think that's why Caddy John says...
That's why scrambling comes into play,
I think that's why he says strokes gained around the greens is your stat to look at there. There's a lot of bunkering here. It's going to be an interesting test. The weather looks great. It looks dry. It looks windy. So it could be good. I see right now, winning score projected at like minus 10.5. So could be a tougher test for these boys. It's not going to be like a 19 under winning this thing like we're used to seeing. So should be good. Decent field. Let's get into it, Pat. Let's look at the top of the betting board. Top of the betting board here on DraftKings. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I like this is a strong field, and when I'm looking at some of the value here on the betting board, I don't have a ton of names. I don't have any names for you tonight. Past 80-1, which is unusual for me. Very unusual. I'm known to kind of go big.
DB's big balls are shriveling up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I on the big balls betting card that I write, I tend to include anyone over 25-1 because I think for most traditional bettors, like 25-1, that's big. 50-1, 70-1, 80-1, that's big. I got some names in there for you. I just don't have the big triple-digit numbers for you. So we're going to give you
your balls are turtling a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. That happens.
It does happen as you get older. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. Maybe it's fear. It's the snake pit is really what it is. I hear that when you're afraid, they kind of like, you can kind of have a chemical reaction, and maybe
they turtle up.
Maybe your stuff turtles up a little bit. But anyway, it's the first name that really gets me going would be Patrick Reed at 18-1. He's a guy that has 2 runner-up finishes here at the Valspar. He's a guy that just finished 8th at the Masters, 22nd at the Players, won the Farmers Insurance Open just a couple of months ago. Patrick Reed never gets a lot of love, never gets a lot of credit. I'm sitting here looking at him. He's the same price on the DraftKings Sportsbook betting market as Corey Connors, who's a hot name. Corey Connors, good player, great player, playing very well, great ball striker, almost won this golf tournament a couple years ago, is a one-time PGA Tour winner, but since the one time he's won, Patrick Reed has won 3 times since Corey Connors last won. I just think at 18-1, I'm getting a decent value there for Patrick Reed. I like a little bit of Paul Casey as well at 22-1, defending champ. Can he go back-to-back and do something that very few men have ever done on the PGA Tour? I'm sorry, back-to-back-to-back, hit 3 in a row here at the Valspar. He could. He's a great ball striker, tremendous ball striker, plays well at this course, loves this course, is in good form as well. But I think Patrick Reed's my favorite play in kind of the shorter range, that 18-1 number. Who's your shorter player that you're digging?
I don't mind Patrick Reed at all.
Okay,
he
good.
is certainly a good play this week. I like Corey Connors at 18-1. Okay, look, there's a lot. The
battle of the 18-1s. Here we go.
We could get into a lot of debate on win equity and all that kind of stuff. I do think that Patrick Reed obviously presents a better chance to win because he's shown that. I think that the way Corey Connors has trended this year on tour, this could be a week where he breaks through and wins his second tour event. He's a good enough player to win a second tour event.
100%.
It's not like
100%.
It's not like he just won his first one, out of nowhere. I mean, and you look at the ball striking, everything that Corey Connors has been doing lately. This is another course that sets up extremely well for him. So I do like him at 18-1. Is it incredible value? Not really. But when you're looking at the top players in this event, I would put some money on him for sure. I think he can win. I don't mind the number at 18-1, so I'm going to play him there.
Can you believe people are putting together like a 5-team NBA parlay right now to hit 18-1 when they could just be betting Patrick Reed or Corey Connors to win this golf tournament?
I mean, yeah.
It's insane. Golf betting is where it's at. I don't know what you're doing if you're not doing it. If you're watching this, you're obviously interested. It's insane. Anyway, continue. Continue up the board.
Next guy I like is Abraham Answer at 30-1. Another guy we haven't seen win a lot on tour.
At all.
I don't know if he's even won.
He's never won.
He's not won. But he's certainly come close. I think this is a course that is a very good fit for him. At 30-1, I like that number also. Now, I will say this. A guy right next to him, that's at 28-1, who also is plays every single week and has won on tour, is Sung J M. I like that number for him. But I think you can play both those guys. If we're spreading the risk a little bit. We're not just going to play one guy every week. I like both those guys at 28-1, Sung J M, 30-1, Abraham Answer.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to go with the 35-1 stud. Recently won his very first PGA Tour event back in the fall, Jason Kokrak.
I like this.
Kokrak loves this place. He finished runner-up here in 2019, tied for 8th in 2018. Plays difficult golf course as well over his PGA Tour career. He's got another 7th place finish here back in 2015 and a 14th in 2014. Jason Kokrak loves this golf course. That's a fact, okay? Playing really well, checks a lot of boxes. He's one of those bombers that clubs down off the tee here, so definitely hits it a long way. So you're not going to see a lot of drivers out of Kokrak, but the iron play has been very solid lately over the last 24 or so rounds. He's just got a putt, which he tends to do he's been doing pretty okay lately. He's a tremendous ball striker. That's what you're getting with Jason Kokrak. And he's coming off of, here's a few Florida finishes for you. 9th at the Players, 8th at the Arnold Palmer, Florida, Bermuda. Yeah, he's done pretty good. So I think 35-1, Jason Kokrak, very interesting to me. And then getting down the board a little bit, recent PGA Tour winner at the Genesis, Max Houma at 70-1. Very interested in Max Houma. Great, total driver of the golf ball. Good tee to green guy. Now, he's missed his last 2 cuts. He missed his cut at the Masters, but it was his first time. Kind of give that a pass. Missed the cut at the Players, but the Players is one of those events where a lot of big names missed the cut. There was a tough Thursday that day. It was really brutal. Before that, 10th at the Arnold Palmer. Played well at the WGC, won the Genesis, 7th at Pebble Beach. Max is confident. He's riding high. Irons, off the tee, all really popping for him. He's really just doing everything pretty good right now. So I think Houma is very interesting here. This is his first time playing Valspar, but I don't mind that. 70-1, I really like the value there with Max Houma at 70-1. And finally, the last outright for me is going to be Keegan Bradley, who, I can't stop betting on because he's just so, God, he's just such a tremendous ball striker. He just gets to greens unlike any other, and then he just misses putts, also unlike any other. But plays well in difficult courses, plays well in the wind, tremendous recent form. Kind of a mixed bag here at the Valspar, but again, you're just banking on a decent putter week for Keegan. Fun fact is he's in 3 out of his last 4 events, he's gained strokes putting, which he has not done since 2017. So Keegan's putter is warming up. Be on the lookout at 80-1. I think that's interesting. So there you go. That's all my outrights.
All right. Well, I'll start in this mid-range with Cameron Tringali at 50-1. I think that's a good number for him. Look, I feel like Tringali is.
He's got hairy arms. He's got hairy arms. I will say that.
And the thing is, he's been trending all year, and I just don't want to not bet him in a week where who knows what he could do.
You have FOMO, as the kids say.
Yeah, there's a little bit of fear of missing out if he happens to win.
I get it. Sometimes
the
we
way
bet with
he's
that.
been trending, you look at the stats. I mean, he's top 10 in the field in ball striking, 15th in strokes gained approach, top 25 in scrambling, which we mentioned was something we want to look at. Yeah, I think that, across the board, he's one of the, if you're creating models and whatever else as far as stats are concerned, he's going to be right up there in your top 5. I like Tringali at 50-1, so I'll bet him there. And then I like the Keegan play that you said, but then also Denny McCarthy.
Yes.
He's at 80-1. I love Denny McCarthy this week. This is a guy that's been kind of in sneaky good form. This is a perfect course fit for him. You're getting him at 80-1. I think if you're betting Denny McCarthy at 81, he may not win, but you're ahead of the curve here.
He may not win. He probably won't, but yes, probably won't.
Probably won't.
He's
80-1. But you're ahead of the curve with the number here, I think. Okay, I think he's trending in the a better, he might be 40-1 in a few weeks. So I like him there. At 80-1, and I'm like you. I don't really like a ton of numbers over that. Over Denny McCarthy here.
Let's talk.
I will say this. Let me add one.
Okay.
I actually have a top 20 number that I like.
Oh, good. Me too.
Chase Seifert.
Yes.
Chase Seifert is 5-1 top 20, and now he's 250-1 to win the whole thing. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if you want a top 20. 5-1, Chase Seifert has made his last 4 or 5 cuts with 3 top 20 finishes in that time frame. I mean, look, the odds are good there for Chase Seifert to come through for you again at 5-1, top 20.
Love the Chase Seifert play. He's been playing extremely well. Florida State product, big time Florida Gulf Coast Panhandle guy. I don't know if there's a strokes gain category for that, but yes, like that for a top 20. I got 3 other top 20 bets for you. Also at 5-1, I'll go Tom Hoge, okay, who is 5th in this field in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds, which is the most important stat every week on the PGA Tour when predicting outcomes and betting and DFS is strokes gained approach. He's 5th in the field in that number. So if Hoge can putt his way around this, if he can putt a little better, he'll be there. He'll be right there. So I like him at 5-1. Sam Horsfield, who our friend Caddy John Radhouse mentioned as a dark horse play, another Florida guy who he has a good feeling about, who spends most of his time on the European Tour as a stud on the European Tour. In fact, I think he won twice last year on the Euro Tour. So he's a
great player.
He's got some chops, good player, and a Florida guy. So there's something to that. Those Florida boys, I know. So something to that. 5-1 for Sam Horsfield, and then finally at 6-1, I'll go Luke List, a guy with a decent record here.
A guy that never wins anybody.
He doesn't.
Money.
No, he wins people money. He just doesn't win golf tournaments. He wins plenty of people money. He wins plenty of people money in DFS. He can win you money in a top 20 for sure. Okay. Last time he played here, finished tied for 16th in 2018. In 2017, finished tied for 17th. Okay, or tied for 27th. Yes. He's got a couple top 20s so far this year. He's got a 17th at the Valero, a T10 at the Farmers, almost at the Amex, finished T21. Luke List is very capable of a top 20 here. He's a good ball striker. He's a longer hitter that's going to scale back, find himself in a lot of fairways, and then hopefully the strokes gained approach numbers kick in. He played. He's okay. He's a top 20 bet at 6-1. Give me a break. You'll be okay if it doesn't hit 6-1.
All right.
What do you? We got
to take that one.
You got to parlay 3 in NBA games to hit that? Maybe 2.
Yeah,
maybe just 2 actually. But anyway, there you go. Tour Junkies After Dark for the Valspar Championship 2021 from the Innisbrook Resort. Thanks for watching. Click the thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and give us a comment. Who do you think? Who do you think's winning the Valspar? Comment below on the DraftKings channel. Who's winning the Valspar 2021? I think it's Patrick Reed or maybe Jason Kokrak. Pat probably thinks it's Abraham Answer or Corey Connors. So who do you think? Are you Team Pat? You Team DB? What are we doing? May your screens be green. Have a great week for the Valspar. We'll see you next week. See ya.
Oh!